me ask you about this. So yeah, he puts a lot of hours into this. Okay, so youth engagement is something that we haven't really done a lot, but we are just trying to get this off of the ground. Some of the plans for moving forward are social media engagement and homeschooling outreach. Now, we do, like with policy and so forth, homeschooling, but we want to have a very specific, just for the homeschooling youth to get involved. We are working on an essay contest for Banish Big Brother. We are setting up a Twitch channel, and we would like to see attendance at youth events, specifically Students for Liberty and Young Americans for Liberty. So 4 of us were actually at the Young Americans for Liberty Summit earlier this year. Unfortunately, the people that were there were not young people, so we would like to get young people involved. And so this is, the next generation of libertarians is very important. And so, yeah, hopefully these plans are going to be fully implemented moving forward. So one of the things that I'm currently working on is a volunteer program. We get people through the website and so forth that say that they would like to volunteer, but there hasn't been a process in place to make that happen. So we need volunteers, but we also need to be able to match volunteers to necessary roles. Because people, if they come forward, and I try to personally call everyone who sends in a form and says that they want to volunteer and find out about them, what kinds of things are you good at, what kinds of things are you interested in doing, and then match them. But in order to do that, we need to know what to match them to. We need to know what the directors need help with. And if you are not necessarily a director, but a project leader, we need you to say, this is what we need. And so we're trying to put a process in place through Basecamp where directors and project leaders can put out there, this is what we need, and then I can go out there and say, or whoever is leading the volunteer program can go out there and say, okay, this is what we have available. I just spoke to this person and we need to match them. This looks like a good fit. Do the introductions. So I know that in the past we would just say, okay, well, this is the director of this committee, and that connection might be made or not be made. So there is an effort here to put a lot of time into making sure that these people get a personal phone call, that they know that they are heard, that we want to take their talents and their interests into consideration, and also help the directors. A lot of the directors are trying to do things all on their own, and it's people, we have too few people wearing too many hats. So if you are not involved with a member, with a committee specifically, please reach out to me, reach out to the committee directors, and try to find a space where you can volunteer. Okay, the candidate support committee is currently vacant. Brian and I have been fielding a lot of those requests and those calls. And since we're at convention and we're going to be talking about platform and bylaws, I don't really need to cover what's going on there. We're about to find out what's going on there. But I do want to acknowledge Tim and Zane for the roles that they play in those committees. And last but not least, I want to announce that I am going to be stepping down as executive director to take a different position. And, well, first of all, I want to thank people, because I know that there have been so many people in the past 4.5 years that have been exceedingly kind to me, that have worked with me to support what we have done, and we have done an awful lot. And know that I appreciate you, and that I consider a good many of you to be lifelong friends. And I don't think that this is going to be the end for us. I am going to continue on to lead the Banish Big Brother project. And Mason and I have a lot going on in LP Chattahoochee Valley. So I'm going to continue in that work until I'm either replaced or the next convention. So it has honestly been a privilege to be able to work in this position. I appreciate those of you who are so supportive of me, and hopefully this is not the end.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth. We're very sad to hear the news, but we wish you the best going forward. We thank you for all the great work you've done for the past 4 years? 4.5 years. So she's put in a ton of work, done a ton of things, built a ton of infrastructure behind the scenes, doing all the things that basically no one else wants to do, but she's taken a ton of projects on, and we're really appreciative. So again, thank you for all you've done. All right, we're going to move on to the treasurer's report.
Good morning, guys. First of all, thank you guys for electing me last year. Been a little rough year this past year, and I would like to thank a couple of people, Kyle Davis and Mark Mosley, for kind of stepping up and really stepping in there and taking over what the treasurer's job the last year. I'm going to here in a second bring Mark Mosley up here to give this report, but I just wanted to say thank you guys. I appreciate it. Mark Mosley has done a great job bailing me out, and I really do appreciate it. I can't express how much I appreciate it. Over the last 20, 30 years I've known Mark, he's always stood up when needed, and this last year he's done a great job. So I'd like to bring Mark Mosley up here to present this report. And if you have any questions for me, hit me up and ask me, but Mark has all the knowledge. And I appreciate it. Here you go.
Thank you, Doug.
I'll let you have this podium.
Does my voice carry good enough?
Speak into the microphone, please.
Ryan, can you hear me good?
Okay, but the microphone would be better.
The internet people need it.
You got a couple no's back here.
All right, is it better?
Yeah.
Yep.
No,
Okay,
speak
thank
into the microphone.
All right. First of all,
Turn it on.
it's on. It's just not close enough. Come on.
Yeah, it was on. It was on.
It's on.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I hate using these things. I always mess them up and move it around. So y'all just holler at me if I get out of place. All right, I want you to know that I'm honored today to present to you the highlight of your weekend, the convention's treasurer's report. So we're going to have a lot of fun. I have a lot of detail to cover. It's important. It's important that the body understands what we're facing because it's a little difficult at the moment. All right, so let's get busy. Down all the way to the, no, a little bit more. Here we go. All right, here's what I'm going to cover today. I'm going to give you a quick summary of what we're dealing with and what we need to do to fix it. I'll give the usual financial statements with a little bit more detail. We have major problems with our credit card processor, Authorize.net. I'm going to go into detail about that so that you understand why this is an issue. And then I'm going to talk a little bit and have Laura Owens come up and talk a little bit about developing our LPGA fundraising. All right. Okay, so this is a summary of what we're dealing with. The situation we're in. We ended the year 2025 with a financial loss. It's not super terrible, it's a couple of grand plus, but it should not be happening at all. When I took over doing all this about middle of the year in July, I noticed a lot of confusion in our books. And one of the things that I am impressing on the XCOM and all of you is that what I call our discretionary revenue. And I'm very specific about this. Discretionary revenue is membership fees, pledges, and unrestricted donations to the LPGA. This is the money that the LPGA XCOM has the freedom to spend in the way that they deem necessary. Okay? This is distinct from what you pay to come here to the convention. It is distinct from any contributions you make to, let's say, a ballot access fund. Or we've raised money for lawsuits in the past. That money is designated for that. This is money that the executive committee does not have the latitude to make decisions over. So, we need to shore up our discretionary revenue. We're in bad shape there, and I will show you details to help you understand that as we move on. Other people have mentioned this today. Our primary source of credit card acceptance, Authorize.net, has gone rogue and is doing a whole bunch of stupid things. Okay? And I have a little history with that Authorize.net. For those of you who don't know, I was the very first executive director of the LPGA. I was hired in September of 1998. And one of my monthly duties was to run credit card charges. We used Authorize.net back then. I would simply prepare a batch of credit card charges, submit them to Authorize.net. I'd get a report back about who passed and who failed, and then I would follow up on the failures. Okay? Very different from what we're dealing with today. Simple then, ain't even remotely simple today. Okay? I'll give you more detail in a minute. Part of the problem with Authorize.net is that they're charging absurd and complicated fees that none of it, most of it, a lot of it, we don't even understand what the charging is for. And this is big money. The other part that is bothering me about Authorize.net is that regular pledges are being declined at a rate of about 40% every month. Okay. That I've never seen before. When I was doing this, I did this completely by myself. It might go to 10%. Okay. But 40%, something is wrong. And it's been about a couple of years, but the first person that really recognized we had a problem was Elizabeth, and that was a couple of years ago. She has stated it a couple more times since then. I didn't really understand what she was talking about until I got involved in this. And roughly about July and August, I was telling the executive committee that something is very, very wrong with authorized.net. I have dived into this and I have brought to light in a lot of detail what these problems are. And it's a little scary. All right. And the last thing is we really have not been doing a very serious effort at fundraising. Okay? This is on us. Okay? Our fundraising should be ongoing, robust, permanent, and persistent. Okay? It has not been. And that's not just something recent. It has always been a problem with LPGA. Ever since I've been involved, which was goes from the mid-90s to today. All right, let's see. All right, so the remedies for this. Very, very badly need to develop the fundraising program that I just described. Okay. We do this continuously with a robust commitment and processes. And we do this persistently, even if we are disappointed in some of our results. We continue. I'll just give you a common thing that I've known in the past. A handful of people get together and say, we're going to do some fundraising. Way back when I was executive director, people would come into our office and they'd do phone banking. They'd spend a night. They'd raise, I don't know, $700 to $800 or so. Everybody get all excited because they got a good result. That was a really cool thing. And that was it. Okay? I mean, that's cool, but we got to keep doing this. All right? So, our pledge program has not been well attended. Part of the problem that this situation with the declines has been going on is that actually we haven't been paying that much attention to it, which is something I've learned in the last few months. That needs to change. We need to attend to our pledge program with more detail. That means we need to know the status of our pledgers, who passed, who failed, and communicate with people to resolve issues. That needs to be continuous, not just once every 6 months. All right. Authorized.net situation, I'll discuss more in a minute. We've got to get this under control, and if necessary, terminate authorized.net. I frankly think that that's going to be the end game when the smoke clears. Authorized.net has basically gone rabid on us, and they're not doing us right. We'll see that clearly in a moment. Okay, let's move on to the next page. All right, the financial numbers. Scroll up just a little bit more. A little bit more, that's good. Okay. What you're looking at here, I've taken all the months of 2025. I've looked at all of our income. This is everything. This is not what I call discretionary income. I'll speak to that more in a couple minutes. So I've taken that. These are our operating expenses. Okay? And I've just netted them out. Just did the arithmetic. You can see the numbers. We are not covering our operating expenses more than we are covering them. And that is not a sustainable situation. And for the year as a whole, you can look at the number. I believe this situation has been going on for probably a couple of years in the past, at least. So and I attribute that to our weak to non-existent fundraising. Okay, let's see. All right, all this is a year-to-date. This is just an income statement for those of you who know what that means. That's just all of our income, all of our expenses, summed all together with the bottom line number. Okay. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this. You can get this information, we have records of this, you can get it through me or through Brian or anybody at your request, okay? So let's go up one more. All right, this is a balance statement. The balance statement actually looks pretty good as measured by the money that we're supposed to have in the bank exactly matches what's in our own books. So we don't have a problem there. That's good. So, but I do want to call your attention to something. A financial person or an accountant would notice this. Look at that red number. That's something I superimposed on this report. I did it. It's right there. Everybody see that? Okay. This line here, this particular account is intended to be a reserve account. And we are actually mandated in the policy manual to keep that at a certain level. Is it 15,000, Brian? So, okay, well anyway, this particular account is supposed to be at about $15,000, that's my memory. And what I want to show you is that red number is what the account was at on December 31st of 2024, a little over a year ago. Okay, compare it with the actual number that was December 31st of 2025.
Could you read out the numbers?
I'm sorry,
Can you read out the numbers? Can't
Okay.
see this direction.
8849, $8,849. That's what's in this reserve account as of December 31st. Right. So policy manual requires us to keep this at 15,000. This number, $11,247 and pennies, is where it was at the end of 2024. Now, what this means is we're consuming our seed corn. Everybody get that? All right, we found rats in our seed corn, and nobody's been paying attention to it. So we got to fix that. I haven't looked at the number for the end of 2023 and further. My suspicion is, this is just instinct, that we've been on a downward trend here. All right, that is not good news, and it's kind of like it's a sign of ill health, sort of like having a scratchy throat, and that you just assume is no big deal, and you don't attend to it, and then in a couple weeks you end up having pneumonia. All right, so everybody should know that, pay attention to that. All right, but other than that, our balance, our bank accounts balance is what we're showing in our actual books. We're really good there. All right, what is this? All right, this I wanted to bring to everybody's attention. There was an event that's already been mentioned. Elizabeth was a key organizer, and a handful of the rest of you were involved in this too. I want to show you these numbers because this is what we are supposed to be doing. Okay? We had an event, and the guys organized it really well, put it together really well, managed the finances well, and we actually showed a net profit. Okay? We keep doing stuff like this. We can do this all the time. We can just pile these out. Every month we can do that. Elizabeth, every month. No, I'm neglecting the actual time and energy real people poured into this. But it may be that Elizabeth's group can do create, and then I don't know. Ryan Graham can do one. He's an ambitious guy. So if we could do this, I want to emphasize that we can make this happen. If we did this sort of thing regularly, we're good. And I wanted to commend the organizers of the Great Create. And thank you very much. All right. Now let's get into the details about authorized.net. I'll try to be quick about this. Look at the bright green columns.
No.
Say what?
Can't read it.
You can't read it at all. All right, saying don't spend too much time on that. I can deal with it vertically. Did that improve anything?
Not a lot.
It's very clear.
Okay, I'll explain. This column is the total amount of money that was charged to authorized.net for each given month. It ranges from $2,700 to about $1,200. Okay. All right. This is a column for what I call the discount. So if you charge $100 for any credit card processor, you'd expect to get, let's say, $95 actually in your bank account. We never see this money in our account, but that's what authorized.net takes out. It ranges from, let's say, $150 to about $70.
More than
That's,
10%?
so what?
Are you saying that that's more than 10% when we charge 1,200, it charged us 100?
No, look at, you have to look at each
Yes.
month. So this is $1,200 and they charged.
Correct. Correct.
So it's not quite 10%.
Which is really high.
This is the actual,
3%.
this is the actual percentage that ranges from, it's 5 to 6%. Okay. With the exception of these two pink boxes, I noticed a change it authorized. Okay, I am literally doing the bookkeeping entry for all these. I see all this come through. Okay. Change happened in the middle of November where authorized.net is actually now taking out 10%. About 10% at the discount. All right. I have no explanation for why. That's just what's happened. Okay. But that's on the high side of acceptable. But if that's all we had to deal with, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Move on to these khaki colored columns. These are fees that authorized.net is actually taking out after the discount. Okay. And they're labeled, and I take these numbers right off the bank statements. And the bank statements, so there's actually 2 lines in the bank statements that's titled gateway fees. They happen every month. And if I sum these 2 lines, this is 1, this is 2. And they sum to be about from $40 to about $35. All right, when I add this to the discount fee, I get a little bit higher percentage of taking out. So now we're talking 7% to last December it was 12%. That's the total cost of our credit card charges so far. I'm not finished. Okay.
There's more.
Wait.
Yeah, there's more fun. P-H-U-N, fun. Okay. There's another line item that this comes straight out of the bank statements that I've called the mystery fee. We now know what it is, but when I first started figuring this out, I had no clue. I just saw this fee coming out, and I didn't understand it. That fee ranges. Well, the lowest one was $105. The highest one, and it was taken out in November, was $878. Okay. So, when I add in this fee to all the rest of the stuff, the percentage of our charging, the percent that's being taken out by authorized.net and their complex, there's more than authorized.net involved, it turns out, ranges from 15% or 13% up to 46%. Okay. Now that's rip-off territory.
Yeah.
Okay, that is intolerable. And just to enlighten your day a little bit more, on January the 2nd, it's not in the chart, this number was $850 plus. Okay? So these people are out of their minds. They've gone crazy. And it must be fixed. Okay, I'm just going to leave that there. So I felt like the body needs to know this. This is an example of a state. This turns out that mystery fee is from a group that's not authorized.net, it's something else. And just one second.
I think we're about 25 minutes.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to be.
I understand that. I was afraid I'd run over.
It happens.
Okay, so let's go. Scroll down 2 more pages, 3 more pages. I just wanted to give you this example. This is a statement from this processor that's pulling all this money out of our account. There's a $10 gateway fee. We've already paid 2 gateway fees. They charged another one. There's some other stuff. This is PCI non-compliance. Y'all can ask me what that means later if you want to. This one is what's called an infrastructure upgrade fee, $450. None of us know what this is about. Okay? None of us. All right. So enough of that. I just want to clarify a big problem. This quantifies our declining issues. I'll just bottom line it. This is the total number of possible charges that come through the system for the last 8 months of the year. These are the declines. This is the percentage of the declines, and the column on the right is the dollar volume of all these declines if 100% of the declines had come through. So that is from 900 to 450. Okay. Major problem. All right. This is my last point I wanted to make. I'll scroll up just a little bit. This is. I went back and I've been quantifying the discretionary income and netting against our operating expenses, and I wanted to show you that for the year 2025, in total, our discretionary income has been less than our expenses by $4,500. Okay, so we have work to do. And I also, if you scroll up a couple more times, I'll be real quick. I wanted to find out if this was a trend, so I went back and looked at 2024 and 2023, and I found similar numbers. So this has been a long-term issue. So if you don't get nothing else out of what I'm saying today, is that what we're bringing in discretionary income is not covering our operating expenses. We got to work on that. All right. I'll leave it at that. I don't know how to deal with this, but it's Christine.
Sorry, you said you were wrapping up, so I was just going to ask a question. Are you ready for a question? I sound like you're.
Well, if we need to wrap it up, but sure, go ahead and ask your question.
Okay. Well, first, can I request that you post these reports? Our members should not have to ask you directly to get access to them. They should be available.
I can give you a URL right now.
Can we not put them on Basecamp like all of our other financial reports?
They are on Basecamp, but there's an executive committee. You have access to it, Christine.
Okay. The next question, I think the most important question is, what are we doing to fix this?
Okay. First of all, we're in the process of eliminating authorized.net. It's going to take another 6 weeks or so. Is that right, Andy? Okay. It's a combination of what's going on with Civi and what Andy's got going on, and we're just gonna have to patiently work through that. So I'm expecting that towards the end of February, I will see everything coming through strike. That's where we want to be, okay? So that's that. The declines is a matter, I'm expecting that situation to change also when we start using strike. And I also have a program in mind to begin contacting these people that are declining. I've already done a little bit of that. I got some results, but I kind of got my hands tied behind my back because of what we're waiting on with making this transfer. Okay, and also I had wanted to have Laura come up and speak for just a minute or two, if I can. If we can work it in to the time.
So basically, all of this, the new city CRM, the movement to strike, all of the issues that we've been experiencing with this are going to be resolved this year with the implementation of the new city CRM. Is that correct? And the move to strike.
I'm not willing to say that. I'm saying a lot of it will get, I'm optimistic that a lot of it will get resolved, but I'm not going to say that it will get resolved until I start processing the books. I start seeing charges coming in through Stripe and Authorize.net.
But the PCI compliance issue, that has already been resolved, right?
Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't mention that. December the 19th, we did get our first PCI, our first passing PCI scan result, which that's due to Andy and the work he's been doing. Previous to that, it had been ongoing for months. We've been failing at that, and I was clueless about how to deal with it. Tiffany?
And we looked through the contract with Authorize.net and submitted for a refund. I mean, that's a lot of money gone.
Yeah, short answer is no.
Okay?
The longer answer is, yeah, I'm glad to, but I've already put in like close to 300 hours. Getting.
Can you put it out on, like, can we see the contracts that the other party signed to utilize their platform?
Okay.
And somebody can jump on it, can we put it out there so that somebody can read through it?
The only thing in the way of that is manpower.
All you gotta do is put the contract on it, put it on YouTube, let somebody jump, I'll jump on it for you.
No,
It's there. Thank you.
when I go into Authorize.net, the interface, it's madness. Okay, so I've gotten good at pulling out what I need to get my work done. It could be that somebody with a different eye for detail can find that contract. It has to be somewhere. I totally agree with you. I just don't know where. But so yeah, Tiffany, you're on.
We don't have it in our financial folder section. In our legal folders, we don't have it.
Probably not. I'll leave it at that. But there's a lot, you get into this stuff in detail, you'll find there's going to be a lot of stuff missing. Like, that, I won't give you this.
Yep.
I really, if there's any time left, I really want Laura to speak for a minute. You can speak a minute.
Is there any objection to allowing Ms. Owens to come up and speak?
Will that be the last thing?
Yes, that's it. That's it for this.
Hearing none, we are extending for 2 more minutes.
Okay. As Laura's making her way up here, I want to say, this is not particularly part of the treasurer's report, but it is synergistically critical to us solving these problems, what Laura's been doing. And I want her to speak to that. So.
Thank you. First, I just wanted to thank Ms. Christie and Austin in particular for encouraging me to take on this role despite my lack of experience with it. And also thank our chair, Jerry, for appointing me to this role. In at least the recent past that I'm aware of, as Mark pointed out, fundraising has been done only occasionally, mostly at events like Great Create and the Range Day event, and that needs to change, especially now that we're having the budget shortfalls and the problems that Mark has just described. My goal as the Finance and Fundraising Director has been to get a system in place where we're doing fundraising consistently and nearly constantly. Every event that we have, every holiday, every time the state legislature does something that impinges on our liberties, that is an opportunity for fundraising. The more money we have, the more money, more things we can accomplish. So far, we have sent out 2 paper mailers. We have sent emails out to lapsed members. One of the paper mailers was encouraging monthly contributions. We've emailed some of our top donors as well. That was a Giving Tuesday email. And I'm looking forward to doing even more with fundraising in 2026. There's even more things that we can do in this department. Of course, fundraising is not the only thing that will help with this. There are problems, as he's pointing out, with authorize.net that need to be resolved. But fundraising is a big part of that. The more money we have coming in, as I said, the more things we can accomplish as a state party. We are competing with lobbyists that have deep pockets to get some of our policy goals accomplished. But if the chair here would appoint me a second time, I have big plans for 2026 to get even more fundraising done in 2026. My goal is to top our successes in 2025.
Thank you, Laura. So y'all support Laura as Mr. Kent, and I appreciate the patience. And I will close with Zane. I warned you. Thank you for your time.